Good morning, everyone. I am live, I think. Just waiting to hear my own voice on YouTube. Okay, all good. Let's go. So first and foremost, please read the disclaimer. Till then, I will set up my charts. And the YouTube comments are active. More. I'm not promising that I will, be active in the comment section, but once in a while, I'm going to read something. Since the audio is fine, I'm going to take off my earphones. I don't know why I sit with my earphones on the whole time and I'm not listening to anything. Can you just say yes in the chat if everything's looking good? If right now you can see the whole screen and I'm audible, correct? Okay, thank you. So there's a 20-second delay, but I think that won't be an impediment because we are here to learn price. I'm going, if I do take a trade, I will share it, but there will be a delay, a slight delay, 20-second or more or less. Yeah, we've gotten the sell side liquidity that we were dying for the past week or more. It happened on Friday. Sorry, it happened today. We touched the high of the daily fair value gap here on Friday last hour. And today we had another dip lower, like a 3 drives pattern here. And we are inside of this fair value gap now. So let's start with the dollar index. And I saw something I would share once. No, dollar index. Okay, so let's start with the dollar index. We're going to go on the daily chart now. Yeah, so unclear. I'm just trying to accustom myself with YouTube. It looks fine to me. And sorry for the zoom watermark at the bottom right. I tried to remove it, but there was no plan on Zoom that removes this watermark. I checked. It will be there no matter how much of a premium plan you get. And I took a brief nap before starting this, so that's why this morning voice. It's evening right now where I'm from. It's morning in New York, but it's evening my time. So yeah, let's start with the dollar index weekly chart. So if it was bullish, we wanted this fair value gap to support price, and it didn't. We went lower. So now we'll see if the daily BC level acts as an inversion level now. Sorry, I'm a little unfocused. I just woke up, sorry. What are the daily? The daily was clear. So yeah, on the daily, we have the consequent encroachment of this wick that we felt a little bit shy of, just some ticks or something. And we retraced back into this weekly busy. So now we had this small little gap here that we filled on Thursday. And then we touched the high of this fair value gap. That was a target. But we had a bounce, a much rather displacement after touching this gap here on Thursday. So now it's Monday. We don't have any news driver today, a significant new red or orange news driver. We have some news drivers tomorrow on Tuesday. So we'll see what we get today. But as of such, I think it won't be a very large range day today. We'll see what we get. So this fair value gap here, it was a busy. It came down, wicked into it. I think it's a balanced price range now, so I think I'll remove it now. We also respected this fair value gap perfectly here, the high of it, and then next day the low of it. So I think I will remove it. To keep the weekly busy level, because I think it will be pertinent this week. After this week, I may remove it, but this week the weekly busy level will stay here. And yeah, I will remove these two lines as well now. I will mark this little fair value gap here with a green rectangle. I think we will get some better arrays on the lower time frames. I'm just watching if I see something else or not. Again, if you have questions, I will answer them, but allow me the liberty to answer them as I feel convenient. A lot of things I have to manage you. And most importantly, managing the analysis, reading price well. That's the first job for me. Yeah. We have a weekly fair value gap here. And the order block. Okay, I will mark it now. The lower time frames. So yeah, as you may remember, in the previous stream, I was talking about how the whole session, it was around 9 o'clock on Friday. I was talking about how we will only consolidate inside of this green shaded fair value gap, and you can see how beautifully look at the bodies of the candles. None of the body went outside of the green shaded fair value gap. I was expecting this consolidation, basically right here, and even after the Sunday open, it respected, and then we moved lower at 7 o'clock. Now we are tracing up. So, but basically on Friday, I was talking about this because I was expecting a consolidation in dollar index after touching, because we already had an expansion run in the London session on Friday, and we were expecting something on indices, so that made me confident about dollar being dollar consolidating inside of this range, inside of this green shaded weekly BC level, and it did. Now, I think it's difficult to read right now because it is a Monday, because of no news driver today. So it's a little difficult for us to predict when there's no news driver, when there is no manipulation. It's difficult to predict, because manipulation, you can, when you have some kind of a manipulation, you are more interested in the other side of that manipulation, right? But when there's no manipulation, I'm not as much confident as I am with manipulation. Let's go to 15. We have this new week opening gap here, but it is dollar index, so I'm not going to mark it. We also have buy stops here. Buy side liquidity. If taken out sell side, I'm interested in buy side in dollar now. We have buy side liquidity above these highs. We've taken out sell side here. The morning London stops. London session sell stops. I'm more interested in this now. So my short term right now, my bias for dollar goes bullish. Short term, like very short term. I'm not interested in getting a long term bias now. And when I say long term, I'm saying the weekly bias right now. I don't have it. Seriously, I don't have it. So for now, I'm only interested in short term scalps if I get any. Because it's Monday, it can easily, you can get short term scalps on this day, but don't try to, if you don't have any, don't try to formulate a bias on a non news driver day, because the news drivers are the manipulation day. Even if you get the bias right, like let's say you're going long on dollar and you buy here, and yeah, it rallies right here and touches the fair value gap. Yeah, but tomorrow when there's a news driver, it will manipulate again, take you out, and then go higher. If you, even if you're right, so don't get a long term bias on this day. All right. If taken out sell side now, the short term bias on dollar goes bullish, so that let's see what we get on indices. But I can bullish order block here, fair value gap here. We already had a market structure shift. It can also retrace into this fair value gap little here. It can do that and then go higher. So let's see what we get. These are all the levels that I'm watching on the dollar index. I'm going to load this chart on the other monitor now. Wondering why my levels are not loading here. Oops. I'm using another layout right now. Oh, damn it. Mhm. Got it. And when I mark this Beverly gap, it's it's basically a last line of defense for me for bullishness. And it can easily be a breakaway gap and not ever come back here and go for the buy side. But it's last line of defense actually for me. Honestly, I want it to be kind of a breakaway gap and move higher and go for the buy side right away. Should be a breakaway gap. If everything's good, can you just say yes in the chat? Okay, thank you. Let's go to our favorite pairs, the index futures. As we wanted, we got the fair value gap, the daily fair value gap here. We got sell side liquidity below these lows. And as I said, that sell side liquidity was a huge pool of liquidity. It was a CPI low and it was an FOMC low. And we created some more relative equal lows. Great stream ES has yeah, because I'm doing it with Zoom. And if I did it with YouTube, it would have been very laggy and the audio would have been shit. So it's actually good to have that little Zoom watermark because they deserve it. So yeah, we took out sell side in the London session today, and we're having a rally now. Let's see. Short-term bias on bullish, dollar is bullish as well, and we're having a rally in equities as well. Now the bias I talked about on dollar, that's, as you can see, the short-term bias, like it's very close to the relative, those buy side liquidity and the new week opening gap. And also stated that we have a small little fair gap, so it can have a retracement. And in the moment of that retracement, we can have a rally in equity. So what I mean to say is, you have to navigate in this market. I just can't say one thing and it will happen right now. because it's a Monday. Just a moment, I'll set up the other charts as well. Wow. Nasdaq didn't take out the lows, made an equal low. 1, 2, 3, and these are relative equal lows. In the not today, but with some manipulation of a news driver, that's a lovely target. That's something that I would target if I was the market maker, because there's a lot of liquidity for Nasdaq. Now, even though ES took that out, yes, there's an SMT divergence. Nasdaq didn't, and ES did. But again, the narrative suggests that even Nasdaq should do that. So yeah, let's study one chart one by one. Let's go to ES U2023 weekly chart. So yeah, we have this weekly fair value gap again. We were expecting it to consolidate inside of this weekly fair value gap, and I stated long days back, that we had a daily fair value gap. So I'm expecting a kind of a wick movement inside of the daily fair value gap. I'm pretty sure I said that, so you can check that out in the previous streams. I said this word by word, that we have this weekly fair value gap. We want price to pretty much consolidate inside of it, but it can have a wick inside of this daily fair value gap, and the bodies should remain inside of the weekly fair value gap. And we had pretty much that. It wicked down today, and the bodies pretty much stayed inside of that fair value gap. And you can see how the lower portion of it, beautiful price delivery. Let's So now we have a small little weekly fair value gap. After the close of previous week here, we have a weekly fair value gap, and in this week, today itself in the London session, we made a small wick inside of it. So yeah, and we have these upside objectives: the volume imbalance and the liquidity void. Talking about these things for a long time now, but still, we have these objectives for bullishness in equities. So yeah, let's go back to the daily chart. We wicked down inside of this daily fair value gap, went up to the consequent encroachment of it around the consequent encroachment of it. I'm not going to mark it, but you can clearly see eyeball this stuff, because if you mark everything, you get disoriented. If I mark consequent encroachment of this, I'll get disoriented at what is this level, because this is the consequent encroachment of the weekly fair value gap. So I try to keep it as clean as possible. Let's go to the hourly now. So yeah, as soon as we dipped below the sell side liquidity pool, below these high impact news driver lows here today, if you ask me, I'm not really satisfied with the London session picking out this huge pool of liquidity. I'm not really satisfied with that. So it can have another run lower. Not saying that it will happen right now, but maybe after we go to a short-term premium, like we have this fair value gap here, this buy side liquidity pool here, maybe if the time of day permits it, if everything aligns with intermarket analysis, we may have a run lower again below this liquidity pool. That may happen. And if you go to the regular trading hours right now, this is why I'm saying that. This is the reason. It took out liquidity in the London session today, but did it take out with the New York session, with the New York Stock Exchange open? No. I want another run lower. We have this hourly fair value gap as well, another run lower below it. Not saying that it will happen right now, but a little later. But yes, I want it again. And this is the insights that you get with regular trading hours. The regular trading hours. I don't think you pronounce it at hours, it's hours or something. Come on, I'm an Indian guy who's worried about my pronunciation. I'll pronounce it the way I want. Yeah, another run lower, and preferably another run lower in NASDAQ, because huge pool of liquidity there as well. So yeah, that's what I want this week. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today, but that's what I'm looking for. Not saying that's my bias right now. Right now, it can give us a short little scalp any way it wants, but long term. Long term means intra week. I'm not going to emphasize more on that now. So hourly, and let's go to the 15-minute, and I'm toggling back to electronic trading hours. You can see how beautifully it opened at 9:30 with the low of the weekly fair value gap right here. Beautiful. Beautiful price delivery. So yeah, we have a huge fair value gap right here. We have a buy side liquidity pool here. Better pool here. Yeah. More than this buy side liquidity pool, I'm interested in this buy side liquidity pool, and maybe go into this fair value gap here. We have this huge CB right here. Before 12, daily order block open. Yeah. Yeah. So now first target is this, second is this, and upside this fair value gap right here. That's what I want. I'm going to remove it up to. This is the first target, this buy side liquidity pole. Then the second target here, and I'm not going to mark this buy side liquidity because we have a fair value gap here. So obviously, if it takes out this liquidity, it will go inside of this fair value gap. This is the hourly fair value gap. And we refined it on the 15-minute. Took out this buy side liquidity pool right now. Fill this inefficiency right here. But let's see. It's a little difficult to read right now. Not really difficult, but I'm a little not confused, but a little worried. And why am I a little worried? Because if you remember, I gave you a short-term buy side liquidity for dollar index, and I gave you a buy side liquidity pool right here that I'm targeting. That's in a sense contradictory. So we have to time it correct, or else dollar is having a little retracement right now into the fair value gap that I outlined. Not really into it, but towards it. Let's check out NQ. Yeah, NQ is much bullish because it's the relative strength leader, and this was the high, 1330 high in ES that I outlined. NQ is closer to it. And then this fair value gap. This is what I'm looking for. I think this is the draw on liquidity or NQ. Now, since NQ is the stronger one, I think this is easy for NQ to do it. Easier for NQ to do it, and then ES. And if we break this high, this inefficiency is next. This fairly gap is next. But for now, I think this is enough for the drawn liquidity. Dollar is having its rally for buy side liquidity that I outlined at the beginning of the session. So that may form, and that is the reason of this little retracement in equities. And yeah, asymmetrical markets today as well. Both have buy side objectives, both are rallying. So not saying that this is the market you cannot trade, but you have to be a little more careful about it. The best type of scenarios are when dollar is heavy bearish and equities are heavy bullish. Those are the best type of low resistance liquidity run scenarios. But that's easy to read, easy to execute. We have kind of an institutional order flow entry till. This is a fair value gap. Now it should rally into the buy side liquidity. Now it should just rally. Let's see, but we took out sell side. Maybe leave this breakaway gap and do it. Bullish order block. I went long. In NQ. I'll show you guys. Yeah, I hope I can switch between the screens now. I went long inside of this bullish order block right here. My stop is below this, breakaway below the breakaway gap a little bit. I'm going to targeting this buy side liquidity and the drawn liquidity, the fair value gap that I outlined here. You also have a bullish breaker here and the order block. So I placed my stop loss below the bullish breaker. I'm going to be nimble and take off some portion above the buy side liquidity pool. Maybe I'll let it run inside of this premium draw liquidity. Yeah, we stopped out. I don't think this is a good indication for bullishness. Let's see what we get. Uh, yeah, dollar running for buy side. Not exactly running, but equities are breaking down right now. We had a big move before 10 a.m. from 9:30. That can be a little tricky for the morning session. Again, I still have that fair value gap here, small little. Ideally, if it's bearish, it should, leave some kind of a gap open here. And if it's bearish, and touch this and go lower. That is an ideal scenario. I don't think it is bearish. I'm still favoring buy side. I don't think it is bearish. And even if it is, that is a little inconvenient. I still favor this draw on liquidity that I've outlined. Yeah, we've touched the value gap here. Let's see. We have a small SMT divergence between ES and NASDAQ here. Lower low in NASDAQ, not a lower low in ES, and not a lower low in Dow as well. If you show a strong move upside above this green parallel I've outlined, I may be interested in bullishness again. But up till now, it looks like a 2022 model. Yeah. This is kind of a wick movement. I'm not interested in that. Show me some kind of a body. After dollar takes out buy side and starts to consolidate or retrace a little bit, it will be easier for equities to rally then. And if you're wondering why is this not a 2022 model, buy side taken, market structure shift, displacement, fair value gap, classic model in terms of pattern, right? But I'm not bearish, am I? If I was bearish, I would have gone short with maybe the low of this or definitely here. If I was bearish, and that would have been a great model. But no, my bias suggests otherwise. And if I'm wrong, I'll adapt. If I am wrong, I will adapt. It's like I am. Feel like I am wrong for bullishness. So where is sell side? Where is sell side? Maybe there. More interested in 930 low right now. There is sell side there. You know how it respected the breakaway gap that I outlined because I thought it was bullish. Preferring, uh, I would have preferred if it took out buy side and then it made this kind of a move, but you know, gotta get what you get. Strong movement, low resistance liquidity run. Not in my direction, the other direction. Going for sell side liquidity below the 930 low. I was expecting some kind of an institutional order flow entity here. Looks like that's not in the cards. Low resistance liquidity run example right here. If I was short, say I was short with the 20-day model, which I said otherwise that I wouldn't see that as a 20-day model because I was wrong in my bias. If I was bearish, I would have taken that setup. I would have entered with this low, just like right here. Maybe if I was trying to get a perfect entry, I would enter with this. And then I would have taken a partial right here, right now. And then half partial right here, half below this flow. Or maybe if you want to leave a runner for this liquidity, but leave a small portion. Dollar slowly reaching for buy side, equities falling sharply for sell side. Beautiful move, but I'm I got a loss. That sucks, but that happens. Take out the consequent encroachment of this wick and dip into sell side. After it delivers you, I'm going to close the stream. Done for the day. Dollar going for buy side. Mhm. It shouldn't violate this fair value gap. It should stay inside of this. This this one huge is a 2-minute fair value gap, but I will outline this one. Dollar is very close to buy side now. We have an SMT divergence. Nasdaq took out the 930 low. Sorry, ES took out the 930 low and Nasdaq didn't. Right here. Dollar took out buy side. Buy side liquidity delivered in dollar. SMT divergence in Nasdaq. Dow took out relative equal lows apart from the 930 low. We had another wick down into the daily fair value gap. Let me show you something. Just a minute. Okay, I think I'm going to close the stream now. I'm not feeling confident enough today. The markets are good. My psychology is not feeling good today, so I'm going to close the stream today. Yeah, see you some other day.